Yo, what's up everybody, how's it going? And welcome to the Weirdness of 7.20. We finally have a new patch and well, I'm here to show you what is going on with this new patch, like what is happening here. Now, as always, the rules here are that I'm only going to show things that actually significantly change either how you play the hero or how you play the game. I'm not going to cover simple number changes. For example, Shadow Fiend got 1 additional base armor. While that's good and it's a buff and it's cool, you know, I like Shadow Fiend. At the same time, it doesn't really change anything about the hero, so we're not going to cover it. Alright, cool. The first thing we're going to go over is denying. Yes, isn't that fun? So, very, very important note about denying. You now get gold for it. Did you see? I got gold for that deny. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that just absolutely insane? Like, look at this madness. Absolute madness. There's a creep. I can deny it. I got gold for it. Yes. So denies no longer give experience. They now give gold. Isn't that just nutty? There's also a different change that I'm going to show right now. I'm going to get into hero changes in a second, but we're going to do this one right now because it requires a little bit of luck and creep waves, and I want to disable creep waves in a second because they might lag the game or crash it potentially. So anyway, Ogre Mage can now multicast items, so there is a chance that we just multicast Hand of Midas. So that's pretty cool, right? So we just got a shit ton of value just by multicasting all of this stuff. Anyway, let me go ahead and disable creep spawn. We just, want to turn it off so it doesn't lag the game. Anyway. We have... Wow, this is very fortified. So, anyway. We also have some pretty significant map changes. You can see there are, complete reworks of areas like around here. And then this area right here has been completely reworked. I personally think these are all great improvements, and I want to briefly explain why I think that they have made these changes and how I think they will impact the game. So, I believe a lot of these changes regarding the map were made with the intention of creating a circular flow arena in multiple spots to allow for more dynamic team fights. Now, let me explain what that means. If you take a look at, also apparently it turns out we are maybe possibly dying. Let me go ahead and just put an end to that. Thank you. Alright. So if you take a look at this area right here, it actually hasn't changed that much in terms of creep rotation. Right, so you have these creeps right here, these creeps right here. This is all the same as before with the ancient camp right around this corner. So in the end, the general movement, if you're coming in here for a farming pattern, is pretty much the same. What has, however, changed is that this has been turned into some kind of farming arena with fighting arena with very small and specific entrances. Right, so you can see there are these entrances. This one is a little bit bigger, but this one is pretty small. This one is pretty small. This one is pretty small. And this one is pretty small. While the map itself, the arena itself, is actually fairly large with many of these circular areas. So I can go around it like so. Right, so I have this kind of circle here. I have a larger circle going around like this. I have something like that here. Right, and then within that, there are lots of juking spots. So you can kind of go through the trees like so. This is a design system that works really, really well for fights and makes for very interesting and dynamic fights when you have these cool, this cool flow to a little arena. And if you take a look at the map, right, a lot of this is in fact just split into these arenas. So this arena is much bigger, much more open. So this area maybe doesn't quite apply. But if you look at this right here, again, these cutoff points, right, that limit entry and exit quite a bit because going in and out of this is dangerous. There's not much you can do here. But inside of the arena itself, there are many, many open access points and areas that you can use to kind of circle around things, juke things, hide away in the shadows, and come peek around again to continue the fight. This is, I believe, very intentional, and I actually really like it. I think it's a great change to the map and a very, very good addition. There have been some changes to the creep camps. So this camp right here is now a medium camp, not an ancient camp. The ancient camp has been moved over here. On the radiant side, this right here is no longer an ancient camp. It is now a large camp. No, medium camp. Sorry, it's a medium camp, and the ancient camp is over here. So there have been some changes regarding that, although not too many. Now, in terms of farming rotation, I think this is the dire side. It's got a really good one. You can kind of come in here, right, or come from up here, take down this, rotate over here. You can maybe even take this, rotate over here. If you're strong enough to take the ancients, you take this, go over here. You can take down this camp. This camp is right behind it, and you can rotate into this before going into line. That's very powerful. There's a really good flow to it. You'll be able to go through it very, very quickly with many heroes. The radiant side, I think, is a little bit more difficult to farm in. So you've got this camp and this camp. They're the same as before. So you kill those two. You can rotate over here, take down this camp. However, this is an ancient camp. So you've got one camp over here and one camp over here. And they're very far apart. So you kind of have to make a decision which one you go for. You can't really do both. However, Radiant does have the advantage of this camp being very accessible through the mid lane. So you can't just come here, probably cut down the trees. You don't even need to cut down that many. I think if you just cut down one of them right here, that's enough, right? You go through this, take down this camp, or you can even just like walk around really quick. It is very, very close, you know, so very easy to farm camp. You take this, go back into the mid lane. So the advantages and disadvantages to both. You cannot do a mid pull. I have already tested that, doesn't work. You can't do a mid pull. That is not a possibility. So yeah, anyway, that's regarding the map. Overall, I personally think they are great additions, great changes. I personally am not the hugest fan of the Radiant rotation. I would prefer it if this was still the Ancient camp and this right here was the Medium camp. But I think they're going for a little bit more of a disparity there in how the Radiant and the Dire plays. And that in that way, it kind of makes sense. So yeah. Anyway. We also have a TP button. Yes. So I have a TP button now, right? I can TP places. And haha, I am here now, right? And I can click this button and teleport over here. The TPs no longer take up an inventory slot. This TP button does not share cooldown with TP Boots. So if you have TP Boots, you can actually have two different TPs, although they cannot be used within 10 seconds of each other. But yeah. I think it's great. You still have to buy TPs though, right? So they aren't free. The only reason why that TP doesn't disappear is because I'm currently in what the fuck mode. But town portal scrolls are still something you have to buy. It's just they don't go into your inventory anymore, which I personally think is great. I think we have really needed that for quite a while now, and a great addition. I really like it. Yes. Anyhow, so we have also some general mechanic changes. So, for example, mana and HP regen previously, strength provided HP regeneration and HP regeneration amplification, while intelligence provided mana regeneration and mana regeneration amplification. They have now removed the amplification parts of that and made it so that HP only provides HP regeneration and mana only provides mana regeneration. This, of course, is I think is a really sensible change, and it also makes a lot of things in the game a lot easier to understand again. So, for example, Ring of Health now is back to providing 6 HP regeneration, right? Lots of items just have simpler values now, and it's just a little bit cleaner, right? So, if you are wondering why, for example, Helm of Iron Will now provides more HP regeneration than it did before, this is why, right? Lycan's now providing 6.5 HP regen and all of that stuff. So that's cool. I like that a lot. I think that's a good addition to the game as well. So anyway, we have some more stuff. BKB got buffed a little bit. It blocks a lot more spells. There were previously a lot of spells that pierce BKB. A lot of them have been removed. It's much more difficult to pierce through BKB. If you want to see the exact list, just go check out the patch notes. It will sit right there. BKB has also been made a little bit more expensive. Hex can now be dispelled. This applies to all Hex effects. Let me go ahead and show it really quick. So we've got Medusa right here. Right, and we've got Omni Knight. Omni Knight has a new ability called Heavenly Grace. We'll get to that in a second. But it does apply a hard dispel. So I cast this right here, and then, aha! Purge him out of that. Hard dispel. we got ourselves out of that hex. So that's a big nerf to hex. Yeah, just gotta keep that in mind. Of course, a buff to heroes that have heart dispels. There's also a new game state, is what it's called, a new status that heroes can be afflicted by, called Leashed. While you are affected by Leashed, you can no longer teleport or use mobility-based abilities, but you can still use normal movement. One of those leash effects, for example, is Slark's Pounce. There are currently only 3 different leash abilities in the game, which are Pounce, Dream Coil, and Soulbind. So how does this work? Well, we pounce somebody, and normally we can use Skewer, but right now we cannot cast it because we are leashed. There is, however, one little exception to this, which is kind of funny with Slark specifically, because what you can do is you can actually force staff somebody out of Pounce, out of the Pounce leash state. Oh, sorry, wrong direction. There we go. So I cannot Skewer right now. Doesn't work, right? But I can force staff and break it. Right, and now I can Skewer. So that's something that only applies to Slark. Doesn't apply to other heroes, but it does apply to Slark. So something to keep in mind there. All right. Cool. Boots. All boots now provide percentage-based movement speed instead of providing a flat amount. Overall, the general amount hasn't really changed, right? So boots of speed provide 15% movement speed. 15% of a 300 base movement speed average is about 45. So, you know, it's about the same thing. So it hasn't really changed. It just makes it so that it's a little bit more different. But there have also been some changes to some of the actual boots. First of all, we've got face boots. You may have noticed in the bottom right corner, chainmail. It is now required to buy boots of speed, chainmail, and gloves of haste for face boots, which does actually mean you can buy them at the side shop. But the way face boots now work, they're no longer active. But if you're within 900 range of an enemy hero and you click on them, you gain a little face boot effect. So you can see that I gain some face right there. This allows me to actually face through heroes, like so. Right, so I click on this guy and then I can... Wait, it's very brief, making this a little bit... Yeah, but you can face through heroes. Gives you a little bit of additional movement speed as well. So it's nice, you know, it kind of lets you chase people down. It can't really be used to escape anymore, though, right? So this is really something that you use to approach. And you always need to, like, remember to right-click on people. If you don't right-click on somebody, you lose the buff, right? Like, that is very important. Of course, you can't just stay attacking, but this is not usually optimal. Usually you want to be moving while attacking. So even while moving while attacking, you want to click on people to maximize your movement speed. And especially if you're chasing somebody, you know, you want to make sure that you're always, right, you're always kind of like chasing them down. Well, I guess you can't just have it right-clicked once if you prefer that. But, you know, that's a little less efficient. So I just want to say that you want to try and prioritize right-clicking on them as much as possible. Maximize your IPM. We are here to be professional gamers, obviously. So, yeah. Threats have a different build-up. This is one that will take me 700 years to learn. But threats now build out of blades of attack. They also no longer provide attack speed. They do, however, give you plus 12 into a stat now, and some damage. Plus 12 agility and 16 damage is actually pretty nice, considering that a lot of aspects of the game, the previously provided damage have actually been changed to now provide attack speed. So, yeah. I don't actually think this is a nerf by any means. I think these might actually be better now. Like, I don't know, 30 attack speed was really nice, but 16 damage isn't bad either. So threats should still be fine, especially with the new boost in the stats they provide. Then Cuckoo Boots no longer get disabled by creeps. It's just a small little thing. But yeah, they no longer get disabled by creeps. So if you're playing Axe, you want to jungle a little bit, you can actually get like infinite regen from these. Like as long as you have Cuckoo Boots on Axe, you will actually never take damage in the jungle. So that's good. There are also some new items in the game. The most notable ones being Kaya and Sange and Yasha and Kaya. They're exactly what you would expect, so we don't really need to go into that for much longer. However, there are also some different new items in the game. First, we have the Ring of Tarask. So the Ring of Tarask provides you with additional health and additional health regeneration. The Ring of Tarask also builds into an item called the Holy Locket. The Holy Locket provides you with heal and regeneration, amplifies heals and regeneration you provide by 25%. So anytime you heal somebody, you heal for more. Now, it's important to keep in mind here, or item Holy Locket. It's important to keep in mind here that this counts for yourself. So you can, you may notice I have 21. Let me go ahead and just put a bunch of stuff into my inventory that provides some regeneration, right? So I'm kind of just stacking up some regen right now. We have 27.6, 35.1, 42.7. This only 42.6. This only provides 4 HP regeneration. So if we remove this, we should drop to 38. But we actually drop to 30. It applies to all regeneration and healing you apply to yourself as well. So that's an important note to keep in mind there. It's very helpful like that. Then we have some further changes. We have a new item called the Crown. So Crown is this thing right here. It builds into Dagon, Jar of Endurance, Veil of Discord, and Rod of Atos. Now, all of these items previously used these right here, the Braces, the Brave Bands, and the Null Talismans. These 3 items now no longer build into anything. Ring of Aquila has been removed, and, well, they just don't build into anything anymore. But they've also been buffed a little bit, so Braces now provide magic resistance, Brave Band provides attack speed, and Null Talisman provides spell amplification. So they are stronger now, but they no longer can be upgraded. So it's a little bit more of an investment in the early game. So we also have some item reworks. Solar Crest has been reworked. Previously, Solar Crest, of course, gave you like accuracy and such. Now Solar Crest, if you cast it on somebody, gives them additional attack speed. You can see I cast it on the Slug. Gives the Slug additional attack speed, as well as providing the Slug with armor and movement speed. Funnily enough, it doesn't actually provide yourself with attack speed. It only provides you with provides the target you cast it on with attack speed, and you can't cast it on yourself. You can also cast it on enemies to slow their attack speed, as you can see. Right, this guy attacks very slowly right now. And as soon as this wears off, he's gonna be able to attack quicker. So I personally actually think this is a very powerful effect. A little bit weird because it no longer has that nice synergy, but I don't know, that's just how it is. And the Bloodstone now no longer has Pocket Deny. It also no longer stacks up in regeneration. Wait, no, it does stack up in regeneration, sorry. It now provides you with additional HP regen and mana regen whenever you get a charge. It no longer reduces respawn reduction. And you get a new active, no longer Suicide, but Blood Pact. Converts 60% of your current mana to health regeneration over 2 seconds. So you can see I have 32.6 health regeneration right now. I activate this, I'm at almost 800. So you heal a lot. You heal a lot. Tranquil still get disabled if you attack by creeps, but not when you attack them. Oh, I'm sorry. If I'm wrong about that, please excuse me. But the patch notes were very clear that that no longer applies. Anyway, but yeah, Bloodstone now provides health regeneration and a lot of health regeneration. So if you're in a bad situation, you can use that to just heal yourself up and kind of go nutty. Has a long cooldown though, so be careful with it. Alright, no longer gets disabled by attacking creeps. Sorry, my bad. Please excuse that. Anyway, there's also been a lot of status resistance added to the game, just like generally the game. So the following items now provide status resistance: Sange, Heaven's Halberd, Sange and Yasha, Kayan Sange, Aeon Disc, but no longer passively, but only during the duration of the immunity from the Aeon Disc. And Satanic. That's a really big one. Satanic now provides 30% status resistance as well as all its previous effects. So that's pretty crazy, right? It does do a little bit less damage though. But yeah, 30% status resistance is kind of crazy. Anyway, this is where we get to the interesting part. The heroes. So let's get to it. Abaddon. Abaddon's Curse of Awareness has been replaced with a new ability that functions similar, but not the same. So, when you now attack somebody, they get a counter, similar to Monkey King. You have to attack them 4 times, and by the way, it doesn't count when an ally attacks. So, if I, have this Bloodseeker attack, it doesn't charge up the counter. But you have to attack them 4 times. During this, they are slowed, as normal. But if I attack them 4 times, they are silenced and mega slowed. And then, if an ally attacks that hero, they gain attack speed. So you can see that my Bloodseeker, if I attack this, he now suddenly starts attacking really, really quickly. So yeah, pretty powerful effect. You do have to get 4 hits in, which is kind of a little bit spooky, but actually with the new face boost, you might be able to do so very quickly. 4-second silence is kind of crazy as well, 60% slow at max level. So yeah, something to definitely respect. Ancient Apparition has a new ability called, well, it's actually still called Chilling Touch, but it has been reworked. It now is an auto-cast ability similar to, for example, Klings's Searing Arrows. It has a cooldown though. It will provide your next attack with a movement speed slow for a short duration, additional attack range, and bonus damage. So usually if I attack the Undying, you know, I need to be here. And it looks like that. But if I shoot that, you can see I can shoot it from much further away. It does some really good damage. And it seems like a very powerful harassment ability. Has a pretty long cooldown at level 1. But then again, only 30 mana cost, like 15 seconds. If you cast this twice, you know, every creep wave, that's a really, really good like ability right there. However, of course, it does reduce his, you know, level 1 fighting around the bounty rune potential a little bit. But yeah. Next up, we have Antimage. Antimage got a fun new ability called Counterspell. So it still provides magic resistance, a little bit less than before, but it still provides magic resistance. It also has an active component. You can activate it and you gain this shield for 1.4 seconds. During these 1.4 seconds, you will reflect any spell thrown at you. So we go ahead and we have this and we block it, and now the magic missile comes back. This is very powerful. Antimage no longer has Aghanim's effect, right? That no longer exists. Instead, it has now been integrated into the ability this way. At max level, this only has a 3-second cooldown, so that's pretty respectable. You'll be able to have this up half the time. But yeah. Now, the effect is very strong. I do, however, want to make clear that I personally have already experimented with these kind of effects a lot for some custom games. And I have found it to be underwhelming. So while this seems very powerful, I wouldn't put too many hopes into it. I don't think this will be overpowered by any means. I think this will be incredibly situational and incredibly difficult to use. It works very well against Vengeful Spirit, of course, right? Like if you can see the magic missile coming, you react to it, boom, easy peasy, awesome reflection. But if we have, you know, something that's a little bit more tricky to dodge, like for example Hex, it doesn't really help you in that situation at all. So let's go and we gotta move the heroes that we have already used into some corners so we don't so they don't bother us anymore. All right, Abaddon, yes, you go. You go into the we have already looked at you. Shame on you corner. So we have Bane. Bane has had an ability rework on Enfeeble. Now, when you cast Enfeeble on somebody, you no longer steal their damage, but instead you drain their, oh well, you don't actually steal it, but you reduce their attack speed. So you can see this Undying is attacking much slower. Something that's also very important about it is it actually lowers the target's status resistance by 60%. So what does that mean? Well, that means that debuffs apply for 60% longer. So usually Fiend's Grip has, of course, a 5-second duration, right? You look at that, 5 seconds, nice, clean, easy, simple. But if you apply this first and then go for a Fiend's Grip, we're now channeling for almost 8 seconds. That is crazy. So, this is a very powerful ability that can be comboed with very, very many things for great effectiveness, right? We can use Who Stomp. Normal Who Stomp will stun for 2.75 seconds, like so, right? But if we apply this and then we go for a Who Stomp, that is a long stun. That is a really long stun. On top of that, of course, the easiest combination that doesn't even use Fiend's Grip is Nightmare. It kind of takes people out of the game for a minute. Yeah, it lasts a very long duration. Of course, Bane, on top of all of this, has some talents that you can use. Like, for example, the additional 7 seconds Fiend's Grip duration. If you're really feeling like being that mean. We're not gonna do that right now, because that would just be rude. Is that 18 seconds? It's more than 18 seconds of You guys want to see it? Alright. Chat demands that we do it. I gotta find my Tome of Knowledge really quick. Alright, let me go and get a new one. Alright, we gotta level up the Bane. 1 second. There we go. Alright. You guys want to see it? Alright, here is the power of the new Enfeeble with maxed out Fiend's Grip. So, I hope you guys don't have any plans today or tomorrow. Yeah, at this rate, the ability might be off cooldown before we're done here. Oh, the sound effect ran out. It lasts too long. That's how you know you went too hard. When you run out of sound effect. Alright, so it's a little bit long. Anyway. Next up, we have Beastmaster. Where's my Beastmaster? So Beastmaster now has a little bit of a modification of his old ability. So Beastmaster originally had, like one ability that summoned 2 units. Then he had 2 abilities, each of which summoned 1 unit. Then it was changed to one ability that summons 2 units again. This is again an ability that summons, like 2 abilities, each summons 1 unit. So first, you can summon a boar. Just as normal, you can control it. Usually you can. I can't because I'm in a super overloaded bot game, but you can control it, it's fine. Something you can no longer control is this hawk. So I can put this hawk and I can say I want it to go here, and then it will just go and fly all the way across the map, and I can't stop it, I can't interact with it anymore. It's just a long range scouting ability. It's got a much lower cooldown, only 30 seconds cooldown, right? So you can kind of spam it. And also, at max level, it gets another minus 15 seconds cooldown, so it only has 15 seconds cooldown. You kind of just use the hawks and scout out the map like that. So, very cool. They are invisible, right, for the entire time. It's essentially just kind of a long-range, global-range ward. Yes. Then we have Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker now no longer gains attack damage from first, but instead gains attack speed. Nothing else has changed about... Well, actually, sorry. Something else has changed about Rupture. We'll get to that in a second. But, yeah. So, first now provides attack speed. So, this is my normal attack speed, right? And I'm going to go ahead and cast a few of these. Right? And you will notice that as they drop lower, my attack speed increases. Very simple ability. Doesn't really do anything crazy. I do want to say that this is a nerf. Right? If you are confused, is this a buff? Is this a nerf? It is a nerf. It is a very clear nerf. Bloodseeker as a hero is about chasing people down, and that's something he does spend a lot of time doing. And when people are running away from you, attack speed is a lot less useful than attack damage, right? Because attack speed is something that you need to stand still for and attack for to be able to use it. While attack damage, you can actually take breaks in between to run and get the full usefulness out of it anyway. So this is a pretty significant nerf to his general damage output. Of course, it also makes his laning stage a lot weaker because he no longer has the world's easiest time last hitting. Right before, Bloodseeker literally had the easiest time last hitting out of anyone, and now no more. Rupture has also been changed to no longer be lethal. So Rupture now, instead of like you can see, does a lot more damage, like crazy amounts of damage. This guy has 2 hearts, right? He's got 5,000 HP, and that's how quickly he's dying. So it does a lot of damage, but it is no longer lethal. Oh, once we actually... Can we even get to low enough HP? Nope. No, I don't think so. Alright, it doesn't really matter that it isn't lethal, because you'll never get that low anyway. But yeah, it does 8% of the hero's current HP in damage, right? So it will always do massive amounts of damage at first. Just burn through them like it's nothing, but as they drop lower, it will stop being effective and just not really do anything. And of course, it isn't lethal, but it actually, strictly speaking, like it's going to be very difficult for that to matter anyway, right? So Bloodseeker is really now about finishing people himself. Alright, let's move Bloodseeker over here. So, we have Bounty Hunter. Where is my Bounty Hunter? Where did I put him? There he is. Hello. Kind of lost track of him there. So, we have a few few convenient changes for Bounty Hunter. The first one is Ginada. 1 second. Forgot to level up the Bounty Hunter. There we go. So, first one is Ginada. Ginada now steals gold. Haha! You can level it up. And then you steal even more gold. I do have to say, I don't think this is actually something you want to level up the ability for. I think level 1 value point is still the strongest. But yeah, you can actually just steal gold from people. And of course, well, high level, lower cooldown, you can steal more gold. It does also no longer critical strike, but instead just provides you with bonus damage, a flat amount of bonus damage on your next hit. Invisibility, now instead of providing you with bonus damage, does a slow. Right, so like now they are slowed if I hit them with invisibility, which is nice. That's definitely something Bounty Hunter needed. And then we have track. So track is the same as before with one little change. Now you will always critical strike the hero that you have tracked. You will do bonus damage to them. And yeah, I personally have to say I wish they hadn't made this deal a critical strike. I know that is strictly speaking an improvement, but at the same time I just don't want to see any more carry bounty hunters. Every time I see a carry bounty hunter, I die a little bit inside. It doesn't reveal anymore? Oh, no. What it doesn't... wait, pretty sure tracks reveals, right? Yeah, granting true sight of the target. Sorry. Somebody in chat just tripped me out. Yeah, you can also cast track out of invisibility, which is really nice. Like, this is actually such a great quality of life change. Very happy about that. So we're going to go and send the Bounty Hunter into the shame corner as well. Next up, we have the Brewmaster. Brewmaster is a weird one. So first of all, Brewmaster now has a new ability called Drunken Brawler. Drunken Brawler gives him additional attack speed, additional movement speed, alternating between 20% slower and 40% faster for 5 seconds, as well as giving him a very high dodge chance and a very high critical chance with a very high critical damage multiplier. So first of all, how does the movement work? You activate the ability, you go faster at first, then you slow down, then you go faster again, you slow down, and then you go faster again. This is always the same. You always go fast at first, slow, slow, and fast, and then it's done. Every time, fast, slow, fast, slow, fast. Right? So really important to keep in mind. Makes it a very good ability for chasing people down, right? Because you can kind of like get the movement speed, run close, clap while they are slowed. You're slowed, doesn't really matter. Then you catch up again with the movement speed buff. You know, you had to hit them a little bit while you're slowed, and then you catch up again with the movement speed buff. During this, you also gain a critical strike. Like 80% chance is very high. So that's really nice, especially since it's a powerful critical strike. And at max level, you can get 200% critical strike damage. So this is a 460% damage crit. That's pretty crazy. Then Cinder Brew is also a new thing. So it drenches an area in alcohol, causing enemy units to have a chance to attack themselves and combust whenever a fire-based ability touches them. So the way this works is you cast this on a big area. It's actually pretty large. Now they are slowed, and whenever they attack, they have a chance to attack themselves. So you can see that, there we go, whenever one of those buckets falls down, that's when it triggers. They cannot kill themselves while attacking. That's important to keep in mind. And if they are burned by a fire-based ability during this, they will start taking damage. Now, what is a fire-based ability? Well, it is completely arbitrary. Now, this is not me trying to be rude. This is just a fact. So, for example, Burning Spear. You would think that would work. Turns out it doesn't. It just doesn't work. Right? So this is only Burning Spear damage. It doesn't actually interact with the Cinder Brew. So Husker doesn't work. But where is my Ogre Magi at? There's my Ogre Magi. Ogre Magi does. So I think the fact that Ogre Magi works is pretty much expected. Right? But yeah, some abilities that I feel like should work don't, which is kind of weird. But this is what it looks like if you set somebody aflame. So now they take some extra damage right here, which is nice. But yeah. I gotta say, I actually really dislike the fire aspect of this. I think that's very, very silly. Especially since it's inconsistent. And it's just like Dota doesn't really have that kind of elemental damage. And like adding that in for just a single ability seems very, very silly. Like if you want to have elemental damage, then have elemental damage. Don't just have elemental damage that is essentially just a list of weird exceptions for a single hero. I don't think that's a Great way of doing it. So, we have Centaur. Centaur is a little bit of a weirdo as well. So, Retaliate, which was previously returned, no longer has a strength-based aspect. But when you now get attacked, you gain a stack of Retaliate. So, it just does 64 damage in return. So, I've got my Medusa here, right? And she takes damage, always the same amount. But she builds up Retaliate stacks. So, I have my Retaliate stacks now. They can be used. So I consume them, and now I have a buff. And this buff increases my base damage, as you can see. So I deal plus 192 damage right now, which is quite a bit. That's pretty powerful, right? So that's a lot of damage. I don't really know why Centaur has this. Seems really weird. Seems like a weird choice, but well, that's how it works. So we have Chaos Knight. So Chaos Knight is actually kind of interesting. Chaos Knight has a few changes. First of all, Chaos Strike is no longer random. Well, it is still random, it's just random in a different way. So it's no longer a random chance to trigger. Instead, it's guaranteed every time it's off cooldown. But what is random is how much you crit for. So yeah, it's a random amount of crit. So you can see 163 right there. That's how much damage we did. We're going to go ahead and try another one. So this was 154. So you kind of get it. It is a random amount of critical strike that we have no control over. Reality Rift has also been changed. So Reality Rift now always pulls enemies the same amount of distance towards you. So you can see currently we are about at max range. So it will pull enemies 400 units towards us. Like so. Now, if we are casting this at not maximum range, like for example, like this, then it will pull them right in front of us. So it's kind of like a hook to a certain extent. Now, if you're standing too close to them, nothing changes. You just still pull them in like that. But it is something that is much more reliable, much easier to use. And then the ultimate has been changed to always summon 3 phantasms, right? And these 3 phantasms last a little bit shorter and they have reduced damage. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's always the same amount though, as opposed to varying amounts from before. So we have a Chen rework. Now, let me go ahead and talk about the Chen rework a little bit. Chen has had a few abilities of his reworked actually. So Penitence makes it now so that instead of increasing the damage an enemy takes, if I cast it on somebody, I increase the attack speed of any ally attacking that target. Right, so you can see Penitence right now, and then it wears off, and now we attack a little bit slower. Right, if we max this out right here, so 120 bonus attack speed, we attack very quickly. And then in a second it will wear off, and we'll be attacking rather slowly again. But that's only one of... Yeah, there we go. Okay, that took a little bit. But that's only one of the changes. Another change. Divine Favor. This is a new ability. It can be cast on an ally. That increases their heal they receive, increases their regeneration, and it increases their attack damage. So it looks like this. So this guy now heals a lot more, right, and does more damage, plus 80 as you can see. Then we have Holy Persuasion. Now this ability has some very weird writing on it. It's very confusing. I thought it was confusing at first as well. So you can see it says, one thing that was in the patch notes was talking about a level requirement for the Holy Persuasion creeps. Now, this is actually, when Valve says level requirement, they actually mean the exact opposite. They mean maximum level. Now, you might be like, okay, what does that even mean in the first place? Well, Holy Persuasion, not Holy Persuasion, but all creeps have a level. Now, this level isn't shown anywhere, right? So, this creep has a level. It isn't shown. Oh, no, actually, I guess it does show here, right? Level 3, level 4. Oh, I suppose maybe I was wrong. I've never even checked for that before. But yeah, you can see this creep is level 5, this is level 4. So, never mind. The creeps do actually show their level. But it's just something that nobody ever thinks about because this is the only ability where it matters. This is the only ability in the entire game where that has any impact. But at level 1, instead of it being a level requirement, right? So level requirement would kind of say that the unit needs to be at least this level for you to be able to control it. It's actually the exact opposite. It's the maximum level. So you can see that this unit is level 5, and I cannot use Holy Persuasion, the level 1 Holy Persuasion, on the Chen. On the Hellbear. Sorry. It's been a long day. Cannot use it on this. Because it's a level 5 creep. Just can't do it. Right? And if I level this up one more, now the level requirement is level 5. So now I can do it. So yeah, again, when they say level requirement, they mean the exact opposite. They mean maximum level. So yeah. Anyway. This can also now be globally cast on allies to teleport them to you. So I'm casting this on the Beastmaster, and then after 6 seconds, it will recall the Beastmaster to Chen. If the Beastmaster takes damage during this period, the recall will not complete and will get cancelled. Very much similar to how Keeper of the Light's old ultimate sub-ability used to work. Eidolons have a level requirement of 4. Is it really called level requirement there as well? They need to come up with a better name for it. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. Eidolons also have this requirement, I suppose. That's my bad. I don't play those heroes. Anyway. So, where we had Chen. We have Klings. So Klings has a new ultimate. Gotta find Klings really quick. There he is. Klings' new ultimate, vector targeted. You can cast it like this. Right, it's pretty long, as you may notice. If you do cast it, it summons a line of these skeleton archers that will attack anything in line. Yeah, they kind of just shoot at things. They can be killed. They can be killed very easily, actually. They die like nothing. Right, like if I use this right here, it's just like slaughters these nerds. So, they die very, very easily. They do, however, last a long time as well. Right, they actually last a very, very long time. And yeah, they do deal as much damage as you do. Their attack speed is based on your attack speed. And as you can see, they do not attack towers. So that's a little wrench in our ratting plans, but that's okay. They do also use searing arrows. Again, their damages and all of that stuff is... oh, actually, sorry, the attack rate is based on a set amount, but I think the attack damage is based... Yeah, base damage is equal to your hero's base damage. Attack range is equal to your hero's attack range. So, those are the two things that are based on your hero's values. They hit the towers? Huh. They used to attack the towers? But that's weird. I mean, we just tested it and they didn't. Oh, maybe that's something of a bug, or maybe they changed something there. Anyway. Then we have Dazzle. It's actually probably my favorite rework. So Dazzle had a few changes. First of all, he has a new ultimate called Bad Juju. Bad Juju. Juju? I don't know how to pronounce this. It gives him cooldown reduction and a lot of it, like upwards of 50%. And every time he casts a spell, all enemies in a very large radius around him will have their armor reduced. So I cast this and you can see they all lose armor. Cast this again, and every time I cast this, they get a new stack of Bad Juju, which continues to reduce their armor. Right? And every new stack of Bad Juju refreshes one of the old ones. So you can kind of like spam your stuff and reduce enemies' armor while doing so. And then on top of that, Dazzle also gets a change to Poison Touch. The Poison Touch now actually stacks. So I can have 2 stacks of Poison Touch and they will do separate instances of damage. And of course, when you attack people, they both refresh. So you can actually get like a lot of instances of Poison Touch. Right, and you can see this is just burning for people now. That's actually pretty dangerous. So I personally really, really like this change. It seems like it's going to finally make Dazzle a lot of fun. Personally, felt like the hero was a little bit lacking before. Then we have the Doom rework. Doom is just a little change. It's not actually one of the craziest ones, but he's got a little bit of a change. So, first of all, Devour now always takes the same amount of time. You can also devour multiple units at the same time. And Devour now heals you. Right? So when you use Devour on a creep, you can see I have 9.8 health regeneration right now. Now I have 14.8. I can go ahead and do that. Now I have 24.8. And I go ahead and do that. And now I have 44.8. You can see it stacks. And I can have more, it heals me quite a bit. You can also deactivate it, which will stop you from taking the creep's ability that you consumed. So that's a way that you can kind of make, keep abilities that you wanted and not feel like you need to, or like make sure to not consume a specific creep. Scorched Earth now does more damage, has a lower cooldown, and also no longer heals you. So your healing now comes from Devour. That's going to be your primary source of healing, while Scorched Earth is now a primarily offensive ability. I think it's definitely time to start maxing out Devour again. With all of these changes, to me, it seems like not maxing out Devour would be a very silly idea. Seems very powerful. Of course, if you get a Satyr Camp right away, you will actually go into the lane with 13 passive health regeneration, which is kind of crazy. Although, everybody, I want to take 1 minute to push F to pay respects to the hamster, for he has been taken from us. So, then we have Drow Ranger. So, Drow Ranger has... where is she? Did I lose my Drow Ranger? Ah, there she is. All right. Drow Ranger has had some changes to her as well. First of all, Precision Aura, instead of providing damage, now provides bonus attack speed based on her agility. Now, her ultimate has also been changed and no longer provides agility. Instead, her ultimate has a random chance to pierce armor. Right? So you can see those big arrows, when those come out, she does a lot more damage because that's when she's ignoring armor. Those piercing shots also have another special property, as in they instantly kill any creeps. So you can see right there, just one-shots any of these ancients. You can also see that it has a very high chance of triggering, upwards of 40%.
So be it.
This is a huge, massive nerf, and Drow Ranger is probably just a creep now. I know, it sounds kind of rude, but I feel like if you want to play a creep, like you really want to have the creep experience where you just kind of spawn into the map to die and feed some sort of hero, Drow Ranger is your hero. So, we have Faceless Void. Wait, there he is. Yes, Faceless Void. So, Time Lock now works a little bit differently, as in that it has a much shorter stun duration, and Faceless Void will immediately attack again when he triggers it. So we're gonna go in and just get a trigger. There we go, and you can see there was a second attack that came out immediately. And this second attack can actually trigger Time Lock again. Right? So that's important to keep in mind there. Oh, did my stream die? No, everything is good. Alright. So it's important to remember that it can trigger Time Lock again. And you can, like, in theory, you can infinitely chain it. Of course, it's incredibly rare, but yeah. Yeah, that's just kind of how it works now, right? Pretty powerful, honestly. Although it doesn't really change anything about how you play the hero. You're gonna still play him the exact same way you did before. Next up, we have Husker. Husker has had quite a few changes. First of all, Berserker's Blood no longer provides magic resistance. Now it only provides attack speed and health regeneration. Yeah. So it's based on your strength, but as you can see, the lower my HP goes, the higher my regeneration goes, right? So you kind of like passively heal up. Very similar to how the old Q of Husker used to work, and that one has been removed, and instead he has Inner Fire, which you can activate to deal damage to all enemies in an AoE around you, disarm them for 4 seconds, and knock them back to a very specific distance. So I'm gonna stand right here next to this Medusa, right, and this Vengeful Spirit, both of which are in range for this, and you can see it knocks them back to the same location. It knocks enemies towards the end, or like towards the edge of the radius, as well as disarming them. So you kind of, I mean, the combo goes like this, right? You jump in and then, alright, like that's something you can do now. It's kind of like a little deafening blast, honestly. A little bit of a little small AoE deafening blast to a certain extent. Okay, so Drow Ranger. Wait, no, I did Drow Ranger. Sorry, it's so many heroes. This is a crazy patch. Juggernaut. So Juggernaut is just a very minor change, but now his ultimate, previously his ultimate was really weird. It had a set interval of attacks and each of those attacks had a set amount of damage, and between those intervals, if your attack speed was high enough, you could get irregular attacks to deal, like your regular attack damage. This is no longer true. There's no longer these set amounts of damage. Instead, the ultimate just lasts a certain amount of time. You do bonus damage during that amount of time, and you just deal damage. Like, you just deal damage, right? Like, and so you just attack the target. You can see I will do critical strikes as is normal, and then regular attacks. So you can trigger anything. It's just normal attacks. It works exactly like normal attacks do. I'm not sure if this is more powerful. It is, however, much shorter. You may have noticed, right? Let me actually show it again. This is a max level ultimate, right? Max level Omni Splash. It's very short, isn't it? Very short compared to previous ones. So, something to keep in mind there. Okay, then we have Keeper of the Light. Now, Keeper of the Light is a hero that had quite a few changes. First of all, he has lost Mana Leak. Secondly, Chakra Magic has been changed a little bit. Instead of reducing the cooldown of the next ability you cast, it now reduces the cooldown of all of your abilities that are currently on cooldown by a set amount. And then it also, well, no, that's all the changes there. Illuminate, same as before. Blinding Light is now just a space ability instead of Mana Leak. And Blinding Light can be cast, it's just as before, like, it just does this thing. Like, it's exactly what you're used to, right? And then we have a new ultimate, Will-O-Wisp. What this does is it summons a little Will-O-Wisp in a location, and this Will-O-Wisp will flicker every few seconds, and while it is flickering, it will fascinate all enemies in the area, effectively stunning them, and then it will turn off, and then it will turn on again. I'll just show it to you. Alright, so turned on, turned off. Turned on, turned off. Turned on, turned off. And that's just how it works. You can kill it, by the way. It's not that easy to kill, but you can. So yeah, it seems like a pretty powerful ability. Alright, and I mean, the combo is kind of supposed to be like you do that, and then, you know, you get a stun, and then when they start attacking you, like, blast them out, like, I don't know. Blast them like that, I guess, and they can't really attack you. I don't know, it's a little bit anti-synergistic, actually, because, you know, you want to push them away with the W, but you want to keep them together with the Will-O-Wisp. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. So, Lone Druid. Now, this one is going to be kind of tricky to show, but I'm going to do my best. So, I have some limited resources available here. First of all, so we need these two abilities. Okay. You know what? Let me start by showing Magnus's new ability first, so I don't spoil that fun. And then we'll show Lone Druid. So, Magnus's new Shockwave is very similar to the old Shockwave. In fact, if I cast it like this, you might be like, oh wait, isn't that the exact same ability? Yeah, it's very similar. It has one difference though. It pulls people in. Right? Like, that's all it does. It just kind of pulls them in. The AoE is pretty small. You gotta be pretty precise with it. But yeah, if you hit multiple heroes, it kind of looks like this. If you have Aghanim Scepter, it gets kind of funny because it looks like this. So it kind of like pushes them back and forth. But it just kind of pulls them in towards the center of the AoE. So the reason why I wanted to show you this first is because I'm going to be using Magnus to deal some damage here. So a few changes here. First of all, when Lone Druid takes damage, part of that damage goes to the Spirit Bear, as you can see right there. Now, Lone Druid also has a new ability called Spirit Link. So when this is activated, the Spirit Bear and Lone Druid both gain bonus attack speed, and they lifesteal for each other. Now, what that means is that every time the Spirit Bear attacks something and lifesteals, the Lone Druid gets healed for that amount. And if the Lone Druid attacks something and lifesteals, the Spirit Bear gets healed for that amount. So let me just go ahead and show this. So you can see that I get healed for the Spirit Bear's attacks, but if I attack, now the Spirit Bear gets healed. Alright? Cool, cool, cool. I don't know, I need to actually kill the Spirit Bear really quick, because else it's just going to be... It's going to be really annoying. Sorry. It's just going to keep attacking and I can't control it. Okay. We have Lycan. Lycan, where's my Lycan? So Howl. It now, instead of providing health and damage, it provides attack speed, armor, and health regeneration. Very simple. Of course, also applies to your summons. So if I do this, I have bonus health regeneration and attack speed. I mean, you believe it, right? Like, I don't need to prove this to you. But yeah, we've got the wolves, and they're attacking, and I do this, and you go, boys! Attack a little bit quicker. It's not that much attack speed. It's actually a good amount. It's 60. It's, you know, just not game-breakingly good. Maybe we need some higher level wolves to show this a little better. So this is the normal attack rate, and then we do this. And yeah, you can see they attack a little bit faster. So that's nice. I mean, I guess I should maybe drop the Shiva's Guard or something. Alright, come here, boys. I'm gonna go ahead and try this again over here. Where there's no Shiva's Guard going on. So this is the normal attack speed, and then we do that. Wait, does this not apply to the wolves? I feel like I may have found a bug. It clearly applies to the Lycan. I don't know if it applies to the wolves. No, they don't have the buff. They don't have the armor. They don't have the health. I think I found a bug. It might... I don't know. I don't know. It might be because the wolves are currently not controlled by a player. Anyway, you believe me that this is how it works, right? Like, I don't think we need to spend too much time on this. Yeah, anyway. It does, of course, apply to all units. It also has a beautiful .s at the end, which is cool. Beautiful tooltip, beautiful tooltip. Alright. So, we have the Magnus, we showed Magnus, we have Mepo. Okay, so Mepo is going to be a little bit tricky because, again, I have no control over these guys. They're just kind of assholes and will attack us. So, the new Mepo has a new ability, a new Geo Strike. It's called Ransack. Instead of slowing and dealing damage over time, it heals all of the Mepos, right? So, if I do this... all of the Meepos take some damage, but if I then get attacked by them, you can see that every time I get hit by a Mepo, all of the Meepos get healed. Alright? And now we gotta go ahead and hex them to get out of here, because else they'll chase us around all day. Okay. Naga Siren. Naga Siren has a change, or had a change to Riptide. Previously, Riptide was an active ability. Now it is a passive ability that has a chance of triggering. 67% win rate for Mepo. Holy hell, that's crazy. But yeah, every time you attack, there's a random chance it triggers. And your illusions can also trigger it. Right? So this is, from what I understand, this is essentially them just saying, play Naga as a carry, please. Stop playing her as a support. But yeah, so kind of nice. Honestly, I do think it's a buff for carry Naga. Like 8 armor reduction consistently like that is a little bit crazy. So yeah. Then we have Night Stalker. So Night Stalker, by the way, just a quick tip. Go into a game, don't skill Hunter in the night, and then skill Dark Ascension first. It looks really funny. But anyway, so Night Stalker has a new ability called Dark Ascension. And he has a new ability called, a new Crippling Fear. So, let's do Dark Ascension first. Dark Ascension turns you into a flying Night Stalker. You can now fly over cliffs, you have flying vision, it lasts a very long time. You gain bonus attack damage. And yeah, it turns night during the duration as well. Now, the other ability he gets is Crippling Fear, which is now an aura, kind of. Well, you activate it, and then if an enemy is within a radius around you, they get silenced. Alright, so it's a very spooky Night Stalker, honestly. This is hella spooky here. I really like how flavorful he is. At the same time, he seems like it would be really annoying to play against. Alright, up we go. You get out of here. What is Juggernaut doing? He's just having a lot of fun back there. Oh man, this is so long. Hey, Evil Chili. Thank you so much for the sub, dude. Appreciate it. Then we have Omni Knight. So I showed Omni Knight earlier. We're going to need a Vengeful Spirit for this really quick. But Omni Knight now has Heavenly Grace instead of Magic Immunity, Repel. It's very similar. It provides HP regeneration and status resistance instead of providing magic immunity. So I cast this on somebody and I can still stun them, right? So I stun them, but you can see the stuns last basically no time at all. They instantly get purged out of it. Yeah, fairly simple, fairly straightforward.
Guiding light.
Then we have Outworld Devour. Outworld Devour. Arcane Orb is now an AoE. Small AoE, but it is an AoE. So we can see how that looks. Take a look. Boom. Does a little bit of AoE damage, right? It's not too crazy. Also, his passive has been removed. Instead, he has a new ability called Equilibrium. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn what the fuck mode off really quick for this, because we're going to have to burn through our mana. So you can see we're burning through mana. What Equilibrium does is it makes it so that anytime you deal causes any spell damage you deal to slow enemies and restore mana based on how much damage was dealt. Right? So spell mana steal 120% and the movement speed slow. So I activate this, and now I am restoring mana quite significantly, although not actually like mega crazy much. So, you know, like you do need some items to be able to properly use this. It does make it so you can go really nutty for a short period of time. But at the same time, I believe that right now they might as well just remove Outward Devour from the game. Because why the fuck? This is so terrible. This is not an improvement over what previously existed. Like, this hero is just unplayable, probably. And yeah, so ODE and Drow Ranger, you know, just consider them creeps, right? Really consider them the creep experience. See, even he agrees. Oh, man. So, we have Pangalia. Hey, Woofy Horse. Thanks for the sub, dude. And according to chat, Outward Devour currently has a 32% win rate. So, Lucky Shot. Instead of negating armor, so instead of having Heart Piercer, Lucky Shot is a new ability. It doesn't slow, it doesn't negate armor. But it has... No, it does actually slow, sorry. But it also has a random chance to have a silence or disarm, right? So it kind of goes like this. So I got a silence. And if I just keep attacking... Let me actually go ahead and what the fuck. Now I've got a disarm. And I can just kind of have both if I want to. There we go. Oh, no. Silence. Okay. So it does stack. Although I am not getting any disarms. There we go. Yeah, it does stack with itself. So you can silence and disarm people if you just attack quickly enough. Seems pretty powerful, honestly. Like, I don't know. To me, the Heart Piercer was already pretty good. But honestly, this right here, jump in like that, get a disarm. That is nice, right? Like, get a silence on 2 heroes like that. Last 5 seconds. That is nice. So, yeah. This is the most accurate of shitposts. What is that? A graphic model update for Drow Ranger. Is it just a creep? Oh, yeah, it's just a range creep. All right. Oh, man. So let's send the Naga all the way over here. Thank you very much. Then we have Phantom Assassin. So Phantom Assassin is a little bit tricky to show. But there have been some changes to how Phantom Strike works, but it's not really that different. The more important thing is Blur. Blur can now be activated to essentially apply a better smoke to yourself. So you can activate it, and now you're invisible to enemy heroes. It lasts 20 seconds. You can farm during this, and it will not actually trigger. It will not actually break. You can just... Creeps will just, you know, ignore you. But it breaks if you get too close to an enemy hero. So, like that, and here I am again. And if I cast a bomb too close to an enemy, haha! Well, you know how it goes. Anyway, we can kind of disappear like that, and we'll disappear off the minimap. We are essentially like mega invisible, as long as we're not close to somebody. But yeah, look at that. Haha! We're invisible to the creeps. Is Jeremy freaking out because this was one of them? Like, this is very similar to a modification I made to Phantom Assassin for Spark. It actually gives you roughly 1 second of vanish / invis to use in fights. Yeah, a little bit of something, right? Not crazy amount, but a little bit. So then we have the Razor rework. So Razor is not actually that crazy different. So he gains still bonus speed from unstable current. Unstable current stability has changed. But instead of just hitting a single target, every few seconds it deals damage to all enemies in the AoE. Right? So it kind of works like this. You can see all of them take damage every few seconds. It doesn't slow anymore. That's really important. Right? No more slow, no more purge. Doesn't do any of that. Just pure damage. It seems like a really good farming tool. You can probably jungle with it pretty well. Then we have Rubik. Rubik is going to be kind of hard to show, but I'm going to do my best. Now, where is my Rubik? No, seriously, where's my Rubik? Guys, I appear to have lost my Rubik. What happened to my Rubik? Oh, there he is. Oh, hello, dude. So, a few things. Rubik now, instead of having the ability to toggle between magic resistance or minus magic resistance for enemies, has just simple spell amplification and debuff amplification. So that means his stuns last longer. So if I steal this from somebody, so I've got a magic missile now, and I cast this, you will notice that it lasts quite a while. That's a long duration stun. Bane plus Rubik. You guys want to do that? Ah, man, I actually can't. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I don't have the setup for it, but yeah. You could probably stack this for Bane plus Rubik. You know what? Let's do that after we are done here. Okay, let's do that after we are done here. That sounds really fun. Just remind me, okay? I will set up a test game where we can do that. We cannot do that in this test game because of the limitation of test games. Then we have Sand King. Sand King, when he now uses Sandstorm, he goes invisible. He's no longer in channel. He can attack during this. He can move during it. He deals damage to enemies. And he can not leave the area. Because if he leaves the area, then the Sandstorm ends. Sandstorm still has, it still has a maximum duration. So I go in here and haha, I am invisible. And if I attack, I become visible again. But then I disappear very quickly. And only if I leave the area does the Sandstorm actually disappear. Then we have... Wait, where was I? Shadow Demon. There we go. Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon has a new ability. Soul Catcher no longer just amplifies damage, but it makes it so enemies lose 30% of their current health, and after 10 seconds, they will regain that health, of at least a portion of it, 50% of it. Kind of looks like this. You will be impressed by this ability, by the way. This ability is scary. So that kind of looks like that. Yeah. No, these guys have a heart. That's why they're regenerating. So let's actually take the hearts out of the inventory really quick. All right, there we go. So it looks like that. That's pretty crazy. Now, they will heal this off, but 10 seconds is a long duration, right? So after 10 seconds, they regain half of it. But this is still absolutely nutty. Boom. Look at that. That is insane. So very, very powerful ability right there. Then we have Slaughter. Slaughter. There's my Slaughter. So Slaughter had a few changes. First of all, Slitherine Crush now stuns for shorter, but applies a movement speed slow for longer. So right here, we're going to go ahead and just, you can see stun is much shorter, but the slow lasts a long time. There's a very long duration slow, a very effective slow as well. On top of that, Slaughter, Bash of the Deep, instead of, what am I saying? Instead of being random, it now triggers every 4th attack. Right, so you just have a counter there, and after 4, it triggers. Cool. Nice. Apparently, if you have about 532 attack speed, you can perma-stun people. So in case you're wondering if it is possible, it is possible. You can perma-stun people. Then we have Spirit Breaker. Spirit Breaker has a new ability. It's called Bulldoze that gives them movement speed and status resistance. So first of all, you go quicker and then you stun people, and the stun lasts a much shorter period of time. Right? So just to kind of give you a comparison again, we're going to go ahead and stun like that. You can see that's how long it lasts like that. And then we do this one, and it's much, much shorter. Actually, I feel like the first one. I don't know if that one probably worked. I don't know, but yeah, stun lasts a much shorter period of time and you gain some movement speed. There have also been some changes to Charge of Darkness, but I don't think they're super significant. So if you're interested in those, just read up on them. Then we have Sven. Sven has a new ability, has a new Warcry. Instead of providing armor, Sven now provides a health shield. So this kind of looks like this. We'll go in here. Right? So, boom, you can see we've got this little shield, and this will block some of the damage. Right? And if I level this up, so we have a higher level of the shield available, it will block more of the damage. Or in this case, wait, what? Oh, it's attack damage. Oh, sorry. Attack damage shield. That's my bad. So there we go. It blocks attack damage, not just magic damage. But yeah. So, that's how it works. I don't know if this is an improvement. Honestly, I feel like this is a worse ability, but I don't know. There's also been a sneaky buff on Sven. So a change in... there was a change to how Cleave works. Previously, Cleave was pure damage. Oh, well, it was physical damage that wasn't reduced by armor. Now, Cleave is physical damage, and it is reduced by armor. But a lot of heroes that have Cleave values have had their values updated to reflect that. So you can see the Cleave damage on Grey Cleave is now 90%. Right? Actually, somebody did the math on that, and it is Sven is actually kind of getting lowballed there. He should actually be getting more. Oh my god. How long is this video? Alright, we are over an hour into this. I'm trying to get this done as quickly as I can. It's just so much. Alright? Sorry, guys. Then we have Tree and Protector. Tree and Protectors, new Nature's Guys, lets them walk through the trees. That's it. That's all you need to know. It's not that different otherwise. Just lets them walk through trees. Then we have Troll Warlord, who is sitting around here somewhere. So Troll Warlord, instead of bashing, now has... well, actually, let's go ahead and just build up some fever here. Alright, now instead of bashing, snares people. Right, so you can see rooted. So that's kind of cool. Also, instead of having the old Battle Trance, he now has a new ability, which gives him increased movement speed, increased lifesteal, and increased attack speed. Also makes it so you can't control the hero anymore. So I can currently still control the hero, because I'm not in range of an enemy hero. But as soon as I enter range of an enemy hero, he will just attack, and I cannot stop him. I can buck him out a little bit, right? So like I can do this. Which I don't really know why you would do that, but you can. He also becomes immune to slows during this period of time. I just remembered I actually forgot about a hero. So let me go ahead and just add this guy in here really quick. There's Lich. Lich also has a new ability called Sinister Gaze. You can cast Sinister Gaze on an enemy to fascinate them and have them like come to you. They're stunned during this period of time. You just kind of like force them over. This replaces Sacrifice. On top of that, where is my tome? There's my tome. On top of that, he also has a new change to Frost Shield. Frost Shield now lasts a much, much shorter period of time. Also has a fancy effect. It deals damage to enemies in the AoE during the duration. And it also reduces all damage you take by 60%. Right, so you can see that I just don't really do any damage with this Magic Missile. But as soon as this wears off, Magic Missile actually hurts again. And yes, this is a very League ability, this right here. I think this exact ability exists in League. This can still be cast on buildings, right? It also slows... Yeah, it also slows enemies in this AoE, right? So you get slowed. That's a pretty big animation, honestly. Very fancy. Oh, physical only again? Oh, it does. Huh. It's actually a bad description again. Sorry, guys. I don't know. Like, I'm reading damage reduction. I assume it applies to damage reduction. But it actually says, applies a magical frost shield around you, reducing damage from a limited number of attacks against you. it isn't even limited by a number of attacks. Like, you do that and... Okay, there we go. Yeah, we do no damage anymore. No, it's not limited by attacks at all. It's just limited by time. So, I'm sorry. The tooltips on these aren't necessarily ideal. I'm sorry I've made some mistakes here. I have been... it's just... It's so much. It's so much. Like, I'm sure you can understand. Okay, and then we have Tusk. Right, so Tusk has an ability called Tag Team, which applies a negative debuff aura around you. So enemies now have Tag Team on them, and if they get attacked by somebody, it deals bonus damage. Right, so you can see, like so, 41, and then it's 75. Yes, this currently does work with summons. If you want to have a fun time, you go ahead and get yourself a bunch of Treants or something like that. Right, you get them all to attack this hero, and then you tag team this shit. And, yeah. Anyway. Oh, wait, it doesn't work with these guys. Did they fix that already? So I think this was a bug, for sure. I did see that this works. I did see this work. I definitely have seen this before. Maybe they fixed it already. I'm pretty sure it's a bug anyway. Anyway, moving past that, we have Undying. Undying has a new ultimate. I'm really making a lot of errors right now. Please forgive me. I'm really trying. So, Undying, still Flesh Golem. The slow has been increased. It no longer heals him. He gains a bunch of additional HP when activated, and he deals damage per second. So, like, you can see that enemies take a pretty significant amount of damage every second. So you just kind of burn them through like that. It's a scary ability, honestly. Like, also, he's a little bit bigger during it, which is kind of funny. That's legitimately in the patch notes. It's part of it. But yeah. And that's the big reworks. And we have some smaller stuff. Like, for example, we have these heroes right here. So we've got Ember Spirit. Previously, Fire Remnants only did damage on location, right? So like that. But now Fire Remnants also deal damage while you travel through people. Right, like that. So it's no longer just on explosion. In fact, most of the time you won't be dealing damage through the explosion itself, but instead because you're traveling through them. Then we have Earth Spirit. Earth Spirit had the slow and stun changed. So previously a Boulder Smash stun and rolling boulder slowed. Now this stuns, pretty significant stun, and this right here. This slows, sorry, and this right here stuns. You can increase the stun duration by going over a stone like that. And yeah, fairly straightforward. Monkey King. Okay, this one is going to be really hard to show, but I'm going to try. Mischief now gives you 0.3 seconds of invulnerability. So in theory, you can dodge stuff. Hey, I got it! First try at that. It's kind of hard to do with two heroes. But yeah, you can dodge things like that. You can dodge quite a few abilities, although not everything, right? So one of the abilities I tried was Mirana Arrow, and you cannot dodge Mirana Arrow. Dude, I'm so good at this. It does have a much longer cooldown than before. It has 20 seconds cooldown now. So while you're being chased or juked, you can actually try to go for it at some point, but you'll only be able to use it once. So, yeah. Then we have Sniper. So Sniper has a new sub-ability, I guess. Take Aim now has the same effect as before, provides bonus range, but you can activate it every few seconds to make your next attack have even more range. So you can see this right here, so much range I have, but if I activate this, my next attack has even more attack range. Look at how far away I am. Alright, so usually I think you would want to use that to finish off a kill. You don't really want to use that to start a fight, you want to use that to finish a fight. And then Darkseer. Darkseer's ultimate is now vector targeted, so it kind of works like this. Thank God, it's really about time. Alright, and parallel wall, kind of like, you know, looks like that. So, but yeah, it is really about time. And then one last change that I wanted to mention is that Stone Gaze no longer gives enemies 100% magic resistance, so they can actually be hit by spells and still take damage. Which is, in my eyes, pretty significant. But yeah. That's it. We did it. It was only 80 minutes. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I made some errors. I think I corrected all of them. I really tried to cover everything. There's so much in this patch. This is the shortened version right now. Holy shit. But yeah, that was 80 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Please don't forget to leave a rating on the video. And I am done. So I'll see you guys around.